Yeah, hello, back with part 3 of the No Name Gang Hudson Bank Robbery on August 25th of 1994. Just talking about the actions and the result of the guys who've been locked up. But just touching up on the situation of Michael O'Halloran. So he's basically he's still in prison to this day. It's been nearly like 30 years. It would be about 27 years now. So he hasn't got long left. He'd be about 40 there, 40, 41 or something. So he would be like in his 70s coming up to now, and he has to remain the rest of his days in prison because he, even though he was present at the robbery, he didn't pull the trigger, or alleged not to be pull the trigger. He committed these crimes. He got a set time because he didn't open his mouth. Where John Burke opened his mouth and he nothing happened. There was no, that's fine, grand, you got immunity. You have done 15 years anyway before all this came to fruition, so we'll just let you out. And I think it's very sad that this guy doesn't actually get a date. Yeah, there was people involved in the killing, I said, but it didn't. All four of them didn't pull the trigger. It was only one of them. And if they knew who it was on the basis of Anthony Shea's confession, then it's I think it's just really sad. I think that possibly they should be given a date. Patrick McGonagle, he's 58. I mean, he's got to be if he's still alive. I mean, that 58, about 85 now, 85. So is he still alive now? I don't know. Matthew McDonald, he'd been in around the same age. He was like 25, so he'd be like 60 in his 60s now. And Anthony Shea, who I seen a picture of him on the internet, he's looking pretty strong, looking tough. And another thing here is Anthony Shea is active in prison ministry, volunteering at the chapel. He pursues his education and helps other inmates work towards their GEDs. He also devotes his time croquet hats and clothes for children with cancer. So he's doing some really positive stuff. Shea's attorney Jeff Levin has stated there is an effort undergoing to appeal the life sentence. So these guys are probably never going to get it, based upon you didn't open your mouth, you didn't confess. The police they like to let people know that they've got the murderers for these two guards who lost their lives tragically. And you can rot in hell, but guess what? We're gonna let the guy who was a murderer and who robbed the same amount of banks as you probably, and God knows who, if he killed any more people, that we're gonna let him get off scot-free. I just think it's a very, very sad injustice for one to say, okay, so Stephen Burke, I mean, if he pulled the trigger on that day and killed both of them, I mean, at this stage, he probably just hold his hands up now and say, listen, yes, I want to come confess. Get this out of my chest. It was me. Is he going to do that? Probably not. Could be spite on it, but it really doesn't matter. But I think that the likes of Michael O'Halloran, you gotta really feel sorry for. I really say sorry for that. It's a wrong phrase. The word, but in terms of giving this guy some sort of some sort of life after 30 years. I mean, what when you break it down as well, all the robberies that they did, the average industrial wage over in America, what's it, 50, 60 grand over the course of 30 years. I mean, would they have earned that much, and how much more is it costing them to keep them in prison, I just think that, after 30 years, and if you didn't pull that trigger, yes, you're a bank robber. I mean, look, we all know there's a lot of people out there who do a lot more serious, in my opinion, serious crime, done bank robberies, we all know as well the internet is a big thing. People are stealing millions now, transfers, holding governments up to ransom and that. We want X amount. We have these files of your social security numbers, of your population, and all that kind of stuff. And I think that that's it. should be some consideration for one or two of these guys who had have served 20 years. I mean, what good is letting them rot in prison for any more? In prison they would have like had some sort of settlement where they were settling down, and they would have, like, as Anthony Shea's doing his GEDs. I don't know what that is in terms of American like American warden or whatever, sort of school stuff or high school stuff. I don't know, education qualifications. They would have done something like that surely in prison, and that and to give them some sort of chance. I mean, okay, so I'm just going to finish up on this because I don't want to elaborate too much on it. As I said before, I don't want to sound like I'm condoning people losing their lives. Guards lost their lives, and their families, they've gone without their you take a life, be expected to take your life, in away in that form. But as I said, they did not pull the trigger, and it did go wrong. And I don't really believe that they set out that day intentionally wanting to kill anyone. I think when you made a move to take the mask off them, and that you gotta it's a gunfight basically, and I don't think that they settled out. But other people will have different opinion about that. I understand that, but at this time, 20 years have passed. One or two of those, I think that they should, I think it would be harsh for them to keep them in any longer. And that, and I also want to state as well, you look on the internet now, a lot of people are watching people, ex-mobsters, mafioso, dons, bosses previously, who earned millions and millions, taken away from the US government and all the rest of it. And I'm not just talking about US, from other countries as well. They're out now. They confessed, may have confessed to this murder, that murder. They were involved in this. They give the word for this. They give this, that, and the other. So they could come up to about 15 murders for some of these guys. A lot more. And they're out now, and they actually have YouTube channels. And they're making profits and stuff, and that. Telling their stories, glorifying the mafia. Glorifying this, that, and the other. And some of them I watch. Some of them are pretty decent guys. They seem decent guys. The redemption and that, I talk about. They learn from the mistakes, and they're trying to better their ways and stuff and that. And I'm all for that. I'm all for them giving back to telling the kids, warning the kids to stay away from all violence and stuff and that way of life. I'm all for that. Don't get me wrong. But some of them are walking around after committing these murders, having informed on their associates who were in, say, the mob and stuff like that. Some of them are doing 20 years rotting in prison, and some of them are out now on YouTube kind of glorifying that life, like keep continuously talking about it, and I just think there's a bit of a, there needs to be more kind of social awareness in terms of, these whole cases and stuff and that, and I think that in terms of guys who have stayed stubborn, haven't opened their mouth and haven't confessed, I think they say, okay, you haven't confessed, but it's been 20 years, you've done your time, but it's like you've put the ball boys in a corner and you go over there and you're fine now. And after, it just doesn't make sense to me, and I don't know how you guys feel about it as well. But I said I just wanted to come on, give a review on this, and I've given 3 actually. I normally just give 1, but it's just a subject that I found very, very interesting in that, and I just want. So if you want to leave a comment on any of the segments there that I've done from 1, 2, 3 on the review, please do. And that, like I said, there's just like various opinions and that. I want to give your opinion, feel free to comment, but please keep it nice and that, that's all I wanted to say. And I hope everyone's doing very well today. I hope everyone's staying blessed and gratuitous, and hope things are very well for everyone. And that's it from me. Okay, thanks very much.